Welcome back to Good Sunday Morning Vibes. My name is Angelise and I'm your host. We're going to just jump right into this. If you're somebody that's feeling discouraged, maybe you feel like I have so much on my shoulders, I cannot carry this weight any longer, I'm ready to throw in the towel. Let me just tell you something. There is hope. There is the light at the end of this tunnel. If you can just hold on, if you can just continue to persevere, you will come out on the other side. There's no reward when you just walk across the mud and you just get to the other side with ease. There's no reward in that. But when you get down on that floor and you have to army crawl, you have to go right, left, right, and you're pushing and you're sweating and you're doing everything you can to get across that field, to get across that mud, and you come out on the other side, there's a celebration that has to happen. And this is you. You're crawling through the mud. You're trying to get through the other side. The harder you're working right now, the bigger the celebration later. So do not quit. Do not throw in the towel. You know what? I'm going to go there. I feel like someone who's listening to this message today has been struggling with suicide, struggling with suicidal thoughts. Let me tell you something. Those thoughts do not belong to you. You are being called to persevere. Your life is worth living. And you won't get to see how well things turn out for you if you turn the lights off today. So persevere. You can do this. God, through you, can do this. All we have to do is be a willing vessel and say, yes, I'm going to fight this fight. Yes, I'm going to show up. Yes, I'm here and I am willing. I am willing no matter how hard. See, that's the thing, you guys. God never promised us an easy life. That's where heaven comes into place. This life was never meant to be easy. This life is full of trials and tribulations. No matter how much money you have, no matter what you drive, no matter how great of a partner you have, no matter how amazing your children are, you are always in this lifetime going to face some form of trials and tribulations. Because this earth is all a test. I want to read you a line from my book. Within my book, there's a poem that I wrote on November 11th, 2017, and it's titled I Am. And the reason I want to read this is because I feel like it'll be encouraging to some of you. No matter how far you think you may have drifted, God is right beside you, waiting for your arms to be lifted. Lifted in prayer and praise to Him, so He can give you the most beautiful life to live. The heavens that wait for us above the sky. When you see it, you're absolutely guaranteed to cry. We've made it. I can't believe Earth was really all a test, says the people whose minds have finally been put to rest. God says, yes, this is all true. I've been waiting for you. Now, angels, open the gate and let them through. That is a poem that I wrote from my experience when God first really spoke to me. He opened my senses to experience heaven, and He allowed me to see hell. So after I had that spiritual experience happen to me is when my whole life turned around and I started to devote my life to God. When that happened, I wrote the poem I Am, which I would say God wrote it through me because that poem was so divinely put together. I could not have put it together so great. If you guys are ever interested, my book is titled Welcome to Hollywood and it is available on Amazon. So yes, do not throw in the towel. Do not throw in the towel. No one can fulfill your purpose for your life but you. And as much as you may feel like, oh, no one will care, there are many who would care. I don't even have to know you to tell you I would care. We would be surprised about the people that actually look up to us in this lifetime, the people that are actually watching. You wouldn't think, you wouldn't believe the people that are watching you behind closed doors. You have no idea who you are actually influencing, and you might feel like, no way, but yes way. Yes way. You are important. You are important. And people pay attention. People take notice. And I pray you find comfort in that. And I pray that if this message does relate to you and this is how you've been feeling, I pray that you shake that off right now, today. I pray it be gone from you. And I just pray that God's abundance of peace would flow over you. Your life is worth living. So when I was 17 years old, I remember getting into a very deep emotional conversation. It had to do with my feelings, and I didn't know how to express those at that time in that age. So I instantly was like, I need out. Like, my life was too stressful. If my life got a little hard, I was like, no, thank you. I'm gone. So I took a whole bottle of pills, and thankfully, I was rushed to the hospital and my life was saved. I had to stay in the psych ward for 2 weeks, and I really learned the value of life in there. I met a lot of people there. I met a few others who also tried to commit suicide and had failed attempts. One guy tried to shoot himself in the heart, but he just missed his heart by like a hair. And I remember him telling me his story, and he cried, and he has a daughter, and he was so grateful that it didn't happen because he really couldn't imagine his life without his daughter, or what his daughter would have felt or thought without her father. And it was just such a very impactful experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm not happy I tried to kill myself, but I'm happy about what I've learned from that. I'm grateful that I came out of that place with such a shift in perspective. I learned what it really meant to appreciate and to value life. I learned that someone else would take my problems over theirs. There's someone on this earth that's going through something harder, something deeper, something scarier, something more horrific. And I'm not saying that to excuse what you're going through or to make you feel like your situation is of any less value just because someone else is going through something harder. It's not that. It's simply, it's the tools that I use personally to help shift my perspective and to find gratitude in my pain, gratitude in my suffering, to even discover joy. I know I talked a little bit last week about the difference between happiness and joy. And joy being such a deep emotion, such a deeply rooted fruit that we can have. You truly can have joy through anything that you go through. And again, joy is not absent of other emotions. Joy is saying I can go through hard times and still deep down inside have joy in my heart. That's one of the biggest things too about forgiveness, forgiving yourself. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself of your lack. You have to forgive yourself of the things you've done in the past, whatever crimes you've committed, whatever hurt you've done to other people. You have to forgive yourself. And that goes as well as forgiving others. Forgive people. I know that a lot of people go through such hard things that it's like, I'm not going to forgive them for what they did to me. I'm not forgiving somebody who meant so much harm or did so much harm to me. I can't forgive them. I understand. I understand totally, as someone who is a victim, as someone who is abandoned. The list can go on. I understand. But what I've learned about forgiving others is that you don't even necessarily do it for them, you do it for you. You alleviate yourself. There is freedom in forgiveness. When you surrender something and you say, okay, not forgiving is like clenching on to a cactus. and you're gripping that cactus so hard with our unforgiveness. This is what we do. And then that unforgiveness, it hurts us, whether we recognize it or not. It's pricking us. But the moment that we decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to forgive them. Not for them. I'm forgiving them for me so I can let this cactus go. You drop it. When you open your hand, when you forgive, that cactus will come out of your hand and you will be alleviated. You will feel so much better. And don't confuse false forgiveness. I'm talking about true, deep down, uprooting the problem forgiveness, how a child would forgive a parent 2 seconds after they yell at them. Like a real deep forgiveness. You don't hold it over their heads, it doesn't impact your emotional state. You can talk about it and smile about it and have joy through it. It doesn't make you emotionally ill. So, a good example of this is that, growing up, my father wasn't there. He got arrested when I was about 3 years old. He spent all of my childhood in prison. I mean, he did 13 years. And he when he came out, he kind of just went about his life. I mean, he says he was in and out of the hospital and he got diagnosed. So he's hurt me a lot by off rip abandoning me, or that's what settled within me, that I was abandoned. And then throughout the years, there were a lot of empty promises. I'm going to do this and I'm going to be there. And when I come out, I'm going to be there, and I could, and lack of communication, whatever it was, there was a lot of hurt being done. Right. So, and then as I got older, I remember being in college, and I was with this girl, and my dad went from not talking to me, but then when he did talk to me, he was always telling me I was going to hell for being in this relationship. And so I started to really despise my father. Truly, truly, truly. And fast forwarding, I remember one day I was sitting in my room and I started saying, yeah, I forgive him, but I don't ever want to talk to him again. Like, I forgive him, but I don't want to talk to him again. I don't want to deal with him. And right there is where I heard the Holy Spirit say to me, that's not true forgiveness. And I was just like, oh, wait a minute. Because all this time I've been saying I forgive him, but I'm so angry every time I say it. It still hurts. I would still cry. It would hurt me. It would literally hurt me. And then I learned that day that that was not true forgiveness. And I then opened my heart and said, God, help me to forgive him, because I apparently don't, and I haven't. And I did. I do forgive him. And I learned what true forgiveness is, and it literally, you have no ill emotion. You genuinely, like, I feel love for my father. I feel happy. I feel like without him doing what he's done, I wouldn't be the woman I am today, and I wouldn't change anything that I've ever gone through. So if you feel like, you know what, I thought I forgave some people, but maybe I haven't, maybe I am still holding on to some things, say a little prayer. God, please help me to forgive, and truly deep down forgive. Because again, when you forgive, you are freeing yourself. There's freedom. There's freedom in that, and it feels so good. I can attest, it feels so good when you actually do let things go. And always remember, what goes up must come down, but what is down only has one way to go, and that is back up. That's literally what this life is. It's a roller coaster. You're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows. And I think when we really accept the fact that life is going to have its highs and its lows always, that's where that big shift of perspective can come into place. Because if we know there's always going to be a low at some point, we would probably stop being shocked every time we're in a low. I mean, how many lows do we have to have in this lifetime before we realize it's always going to be a up and down, up and down, up and down situation? really it only stays at a consistent up when, in my opinion, when you find God, peace, joy, and His love, because then no matter if in the physical world, no matter to who's watching, you're in a down, everything inside of you feels like a up. But physically, we're always going to go through a down. Like it's inevitable. It's not like only some of us go through it. Everyone does. And it's always been that way. Even the most richest, the most successful, they have lows, and they might even have more lows than we have because of their status. We want to be in their shoes so bad, and they're wishing they can go back in time to be in ours, to be unknown. We all going through some type of hell on this earth on different levels and on different days, but we all going through the fire. So don't feel alone. You're not. You're not alone. The only reason I probably don't have those types of thoughts and desires anymore is because of how big of an impact that had on me, that situation had on me when I was 17. Your life has value. And I'm so sorry that you don't feel that way about yourself, or that you may not have people in your life that helped you see that about yourself. A lot of us grow up in broken homes. A lot of us grow up, in a single parent household, or even in the foster care system. And it's really hard when we're shaped by the world and the brokenness that comes with it all. It is extremely hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel when your life has literally been hell. As someone who's come out on the other side, I can attest that the peace is real. It's real. And it's so real that it almost feels like you can reach out and touch it. I'm going to encourage you to cling on to one thing. Cling on to hope. Hope for your future. Hope for your life. Hope for inner transformation. Have hope. If you can't have anything else, have hope. And if all you have inside is just a itty bitty, like, I don't know about this, but maybe I'm a cling to this just a little bit, that's still good enough. That's still good enough. The Bible says that a mustard seed of faith, a mustard seed can move a mountain. A mustard seed is so tiny. If you get the chance to today, Google a mustard seed in someone's hand and look at how small it is. And that's all you have to have. If no one's told you today, I want to let you know. You're important. You're beautiful. You are educated. You're strong, even when you think you're weak. And everything that you desire for yourself, everything that you're aiming for, everything that you want, if it lines up with God's will, it will be. It will be. So you cling on to that little mustard seed of faith. You cling on to that hope, because I believe it for you. Hard times don't mean it's a bad life. It's a season. It's a moment. The wonderful thing about seasons is that they always have to pass, and the next season comes. If a tornado just came about, you have to do everything to hang on to your seat while you go through this storm. Eventually that tornado is going to die down. If you feel like you're in a storm right now, your life is chaotic, everything is like a tornado, you have to hold on to your seat. Just take a hold. It's like holding your breath before you jump into some icy water. Hold on to your seat, but it will pass. It shall come to pass. The storm will eventually have to calm. And do you know what comes effective immediately after a storm? A rainbow. And that is your hope. Cling to it, because life is worth living. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here with me on Good Sunday Morning Vibes. Again, my name is Angelise, and as always, it was a pleasure being here with you. dropping a little bit of gems. I pray that it be encouraging to you. If you guys feel led to support the show, please feel free to donate to my Cash App, $4NGE1YS. Thank you guys. See you next Sunday. Bye.